She thinks she cute, she act too bougie. And I do. People will do you dirty as a precautionary measure. She was a Reggie friend. I can't even compliment you without you having a problem. And that's when you know that's that hateration. Hey y'all, and welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Melissa the Divine, and today's video is going to be a cook with me video. Today we're going to be cooking this crunchy curried chickpea bowls from HelloFresh. This video is in no way sponsored by HelloFresh, but I will say this is the last meal that I have. I got a pack of 6 meals, 12 servings, and they were all fire. Every single meal was honestly good. I can't even complain. So I saved the cutest, most aesthetic one for y'all so we can film this video. And while I cook, we're going to be discussing the topic of pretty privilege. A topic that's been swirling around social media for a while, and I just feel like I want to talk about it, okay? Let's get into it. There was a clip that was going around of Saweetie saying pretty privilege had actually worked against her in some ways, and people gave her a shit for it. And I was like, you know what? I actually felt Saweetie when she said that. I've experienced pretty privilege, and I've experienced the negative sides where it's actually worked against me. So today we're going to be talking about pretty privilege, the negatives, the downside, the pitfalls, and pretty privilege as a whole. So I'm going to talk about the ways I think I've benefited and the ways it's definitely worked against me. Let me tell you, being pretty is not for the weak, okay? People come for you for the most unnecessary, petty things. And the girls that get it, okay? That's all I'm gonna say. The girls that get it. Let's just get into it. I'm gonna cook this food, pour myself a glass of wine, and let me talk my shit. Tonight we're sipping on some Moscato. Yes, darling. It's one of those nights. Ooh. And it's a full glass type of night too. Let me get all the ingredients. I already am cooking the chickpeas over here, and I low-key burned some. So we're off to a rough start, but I will redeem myself. Okay, cheers. Ooh, I just love Moscato. Let's start with, when exactly did I realize or become aware of the fact that I was pretty? Because I wasn't pretty my whole life. I would say when I was probably 16, 17, I was like, okay, you know what? I'm pretty. Okay? I was like, I am pretty, and I can say that with a decent amount of confidence. I went to a predominantly white high school. Despite that, I still got like hype. I still got love from the white people. They would hype me up. They would gas me, Melissa, you're so pretty, this, that, the third. They weren't like on that racist tip where, you know, they made me feel like a monkey. You see what I'm saying? So they would hype me. They would hype me. You might not expect that, but that was my experience. In some places, they're not gonna hype black people. So for me, that was already like, okay, like even these white people are telling me I'm attractive. I didn't look at it in a weird way until I started to realize there were some privileges that I was getting from my white classmates. I think because I was that pretty black girl, if that makes sense. So when I was 16, 17, I realized, okay, you're pretty, girl, you look good. I started to hear it from other people too around that age as well. So that's when I'm like, okay, you know what? I can get behind this. This is what we're working with here. I did notice some benefits I would experience in school, for example. I'm still getting the perks of being the pretty black girl, if that makes sense. So it would be certain classes with certain teachers, male teachers to be exact, that would be, I don't know how to explain it. They would just be extra nice. They'd be like, hi Melissa, how are you doing, da da da. It was mostly the younger ones, but they would kind of be a little extra nice to me. And I would be like, okay. It never crossed the lines of being inappropriate, never once like was it that. But I could kind of tell, like, okay, you're kind of smiling at me extra. You start to gain when people are looking at you in a certain way, when you're perceived very often for your looks. So for me, like my radar now, if somebody's checking me out, I can tell like out my peripheral, like I know this person over here is trying to check me out because I've seen it all. I've seen it in so many different forms. So in school, I would experience some teachers being a little nicer to me. Just administration kind of giving me a little ease with certain things. I remember for our school photo, we weren't allowed to wear hats or anything, but for seniors would do like, you know, funky school photos where you would dress goofy. So I had me like a Rastaman Bob Marley hat with some braids, and I'm about to go in and take my picture. And hella people before me try to do hats and other things, and the vice principal's like, nah. I come in and I'm like, ooh, I want to do this. He's like, now Melissa, you know you can't wear a hat. And I'm like, but come on, can I? Like, I really want to. It's really part of the vibe I'm trying to pull off. And he pulls me to the side. He's like, just so you know, my daughter's name is Marley, okay? I'm about that culture. I was like, oh, white man. No, you did not. No, you did not just say your daughter's name is Marley. So he's like, you know what, Melissa? I'm gonna let you take that picture. Wear that hat, embrace it, do what you gotta do. I'm like, thank you. Like, all right. You know, I'm not expecting it to go this far. I really need a bigger cutting board. Yeah, y'all. He let me through, and he was turning white girls down, okay? He was turning white girls down and telling them even they couldn't do it. But in that case, I do believe it was a small case of pretty privilege. Come to find out, that's not the experience that all my other black friends and friends of color had while there. I realized, okay, I'm pretty, and it's working for me. So, but like I said, that was the time I realized, okay, you know what, you're pretty. I remember this one time, I got pulled over. This is actually another high school situation. So this is like my senior year. I get pulled over as I'm literally like pulling into my school. Like, I'm literally a street down from pulling into my school, and I'm already late. It's a state trooper pulls me over, and I'm like, I wasn't even going fast or anything, so I'm just sitting there. At the time I had braids, gold like clip-ins. So he pulls me over. I'm like, hi officer, how can I help you? He's like, hi, where you headed? Doesn't even say, do you know why I pulled you over? He's like, hi, where you headed? I was like, I'm actually on my way to school right now, I'm late, so sorry if I was rushing or going fast. Asked me no other question, I shit you not. He's like, oh, what are those things in your hair? I was like, they're just gold clip-ins. He's like, do you wear them all the time? I was like, as long as my styles and the gold clips are there too. He's like, wow, they're cool. And he was like, okay, well, have a good rest of your day, make it to class safe. Did not ask me for my license, did not ask me for my registration, did not ask me for anything. This state trooper, it was like this state trooper pulled me over for a conversation. It was like this state trooper pulled me over to get my number because he thought I was grown. But no, I was in high school. I'm telling y'all. So it was absolutely nothing that I had done. But the man only wanted to talk about my appearance. He was like, what are those things in your hair? Those are so cool. I'm like, nigga, what are those flashing lights behind my car? And like, so that's another occurrence where it was just, I don't really know if it was pretty privileged, but it was just weird. As I got older, the experiences definitely got much more negative. One example I'm gonna give, people look at you as competition. I have been in so many situations where I genuinely wish the best for somebody. I genuinely want to see somebody win. I'm really here rooting for this person. I'm ride or die. Like, I'm a very loyal ride or die type friend. And they'll have a problem with me. We'll be in a friend group, and there'll be another friend who's a way shittier friend to them. They're a way shittier friend to them than I am. But they will give that person so much grace, and they will they'll appreciate them a little bit more. Why? Because it's a weird sense of competition. This usually happens with girls. So it's like, I'm the pretty friend, and I'm really there, I'm really supportive, but there's the other friend who's not as pretty as me. And I don't, looks or whatever, but I do agree that pretty privilege is a thing. So I don't mean to sound conceited in this video either. Like, I'm not trying to be cocky. I just think at a very healthy level, I'm pretty as fuck. So anyway, that's a dynamic I've noticed. And it's like, they won't give you your credit. Being pretty, the disadvantage, it is so hard for somebody to give you credit for your work or for something that you've accomplished. It is so hard. Like, if I accomplish anything, people are so hard to be like, good job, like, congrats, you deserve that. It's always like, oh, nice. Like, you're always gonna get those side eye, kind of like, oh, those half clap. Like, come on, clap for me loud. Like, give me my full clap. This is bullshit. And I think it's a thing of like, people think pretty people or attractive people get enough praise as it is. It's like when people say, I don't want to gas you too much. I don't want to gas your head too much. I don't want to make your head too big. It's like they don't want to give you that grace. They don't want to give you that compliment because they feel like you get it enough and that you don't deserve it from them. It's essentially what it is. This is when they say strangers clap louder for you. It's something I've noticed so much with being the pretty friend or whatever. Strangers clap way harder for me than the people like that are closest to me. And it's so weird. I'm like, bro, why is this stranger showing me more love than my own people? And then come lo and behold, I evaluate everything. I'm super analytical. I evaluate all things. The only thing that I can draw from so many of these relationships, and I'm not saying I'm perfect, in a lot of the situations, the conclusion I can draw is the fact that there was some form of jealousy and it was not coming from me. I'm like, look, you don't know who's complimenting me. You don't know who's giving me my flowers. Give me my flowers anyway, just because you know I'm out here doing my damn thing and I'm out here working and grinding. Like, people act like they can't give you your flowers because they think you got enough flowers. Hey, you don't know how many flowers I got. You don't know what my garden looks like. I was in a full-fledged friendship with two people. We were like the three musketeers, me, a girl, and a guy. And we're all super good friends. Like, I'm thinking we are like the best of friends. I definitely had a couple doubts because they were shit talkers. To the girl and to the guy, I'm a better friend to each of them than either has been to each other and then either is to me. I'm the best friend out of all of us as far as what being a good friend looks like. One day, this girl decides to act different out of completely nowhere. Like, what? I'm like, she's acting weird, what's going on? So I asked the guy we're friends with. I'm like, hey, she's acting weird. Like, what's going on? Sorry, y'all, it's so hard for me to focus and do this at the same time. But he's like, you know what? She's actually been talking shit about you this entire friendship. And by this point, we have been friends for like a year and a half. We had been friends for like a solid year and a half. And he tells me, yeah, she's been talking shit about you this whole friendship. I sat there in complete awe. I was like, excuse me? I literally thought we were homies. Like, things had already been kind of weird, like, between her. I noticed that, like, I was kind of the one reaching out, being, like, the rock star friend. And she was a mid-ass friend. I wouldn't even say mid. If we're talking range, like, she was a Reggie-ass friend. Like, she was a Reggie pack. Like, if a friend could be, like, a type of weed, she was a Reggie friend. She was a Reggie friend. So... why has she been talking trash about me? I've been nothing but good to her. I'm like, give me some examples, like how. He was like, she just legit had a problem with you. Like, I got the UGG slippers, y'all. Like, y'all are gonna be like, what? It's super dumb. I got these UGG slippers, like, you know, the UGG slides when those came out. I got myself a cute ass pair of UGG slides. She had talked about wanting to get a pair too. The pair she talked about getting was completely different than the one that I got. And she didn't express this to me, but after I left, expressed the fact that she was so upset that I had got those when I knew that she wanted them first. Didn't even want the same style or anything. It was like I wasn't allowed to get that shoe, period, until she got it. And I was just supposed to know. I was like, girl, excuse me? I'm like, no, give me more examples, because that one was just too petty. It was like, well, one time she said y'all were on FaceTime, and she had done her makeup, she was feeling herself, and you were telling her how good she looked and that she looked good and she did a good job. And she called me after, this is him saying this, she called me after and was like, yeah, Melissa called me trying to tell me my makeup looks good, as if I don't already know, like, I don't even know what's wrong with her, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, girl, so I can't even tell you look good? Like, I can't even compliment you without you having a problem? And that's when you know that's that hateration. The thing she would talk about the most was how much attention that I got from guys, how much attention I got from people, period. How popular she thought it was, how much she thought people liked me. Lo and behold, was something that she actually had against me. So, it was very crazy to kind of just figure out this person that I actually thought was like a good friend And I found out that she was a Reggie friend, or that she was not a good friend later on. It wasn't immediately. I thought she was a pretty good friend for the most part until I realized all the fuck shit that she was on. And I'm like, okay, well, never mind. But moral of the story is, and ignore the fact that I'm using a knife to grate this lemon. Moral of the story is, that was a great example of someone just not liking me strictly because I was a pretty friend, and I was a friend who was doing stuff and confident and working on herself and wanting the best for herself. That was the only reason that this girl hated me, never did anything to her. And I was nothing but a good friend. Ooh, I have another one. Another example of pretty privilege working against me is a time that I was with the same friend that I was talking about, taking a trip to Atlanta just to go turn up, have some fun for spring break. And we went to go stay with his side of the fam because he had a cousin who lived out there. So I'm like, okay, bet, it's a deal, let's do it. We pull up to Atlanta. This is a cousin that he hadn't seen in a really long time since they were kids. And when we pull up there, his fiance's there. And this is my friend's first time meeting the fiance. She's super nice to him, gives him a super warm welcome. And the minute she turns and sees me, her face dropped. She was all smiles, talking to him. Oh my gosh, it's so nice to meet you. Came over to me, she was like, hi. Had nothing more to say. Hi. Didn't ask my name, anything. And I'm in her house. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, okay. I was like, nice to meet you. Doesn't respond. I'm telling you, I haven't even spoken. This girl hasn't even heard what my voice sounds like. And her face turned down the minute she came up to me to come say hi. I was like, oh, and I instantly once again felt it. You have this pretty privilege. You also have this like sixth sense where you know, ooh, this person does not like me right now, or like this person feels away, or this person is looking me up and down repeatedly. This person is eyeing me. So I can tell by the way her face dropped, she was so sick to see me. She was so sick. She was like, oh, hell no. And this woman had already decided that she didn't like me. So I'm like, whatever, I'm not tripping because I'm like, I'm here for a good time. You're much older than me. She's like almost 30. At the time I was like 19. I'm like, come on, girl. Like this is nothing. You have nothing to worry about. So then one day we go pick up some weed. We're about to smoke. We're in the car. His cousin, the guy, is driving. The fiance is in the passenger seat. Me and my friend are in the back. So I'm about to roll up in the back seat. Okay, we're about to go to the next destination. I'm from Michigan, y'all, so I personally, I can roll in the back of a moving car, okay? If it's the Michigan potholes, if it's 30 inches of snow, I can roll in the back seat of the moving car, no problem. But my friend's cousin stops the car. So the fiance is like, why is the car, why are we stopped? He was like, oh, I just wanted to stop to let her roll. She was like, oh, I didn't know the car had to be stopped for her to roll. Said it just like that, y'all. I didn't know the car had to be stopped for her to roll. I was like, girl, I've done nothing but be respectful. I'm just chilling. I'm like, you know what, girl, whatever. So we moved. Another point during the trip, we go to this function. And I'm like, ooh, I feel like I should just leave my wallet in the car. I feel like I should just leave my bag in the car and just bring my wallet. She's like, why would you leave your bag? Like, every time she talked to me, y'all, it was just in this rude, disrespectful tone. Every time. I did nothing to her for her to treat me like this. So it was just crazy. This girl didn't even get to know me before she decided that she did not like me because she thought her man wasn't going to be able to keep his dick in his pants, and she felt threatened. She straight up felt threatened. I'm trying to think of more examples. Out in public. Me being out in public, I really noticed how like people will look me up and down, especially women. Going to the store, going to the beauty supply. Women will look me up and down and they'll give me that face where it's like, oh, she thinks she cute, she act too bougie. And I do. They have a problem when you think you're cute or when you feel yourself. It offends them when you love yourself, when you feel confident. So once again, it's like they're not gonna tell you that you look good. Deep down, they know you look good, but they're not gonna tell you that because of what I was talking about earlier, where they don't want to gas your head. They don't want to gas your head too much. So they're just gonna look at you sly. They're just gonna make a sly face and leave it at that. You can pull some of the most exquisite looks off, and you'll just get looks in response. Like sometimes they'll literally just look at you. Because in their head, you're doing too much. You think you're too cute. You act too bougie. It's competition everywhere I go. I should have been a little neater with my drizzle. I'm going to try to clean it up a little bit. Here is my finished meal. Chickpea curry rice bowl. I'm so excited. This looks so good. Bring the raisins. Sprinkle them holes on there. Yes. I'm so excited. Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and take a bite right here with y'all. I told you I burnt my chickpeas, so. This is good. Had I not burnt the chickpeas, it would have been a lot better, but that's my fault. Oh, I like this. Okay, this is good. Back to what I was saying. Where's my wine? Your existence can be enough for someone to not like you. You entering a room can be enough for someone to completely shut you down. They won't say that that was any of your hard work. They'll think that all of it was handed to you. Every accomplishment that you have, they'll think, oh, well, that's just because you're this, or that's just because you're that. There's so much that I get from other people trying to downplay me. And that's what I had to learn in my own journey with confidence, was that, damn, people my whole life have tried to downplay me and make me feel like my accomplishments weren't that big, out of spite, out of jealousy, out of not wanting to gas me too much, out of not wanting to boost my ego too much. And that's messed up. I personally don't think that way. I'll gas my friends, I'll gas anybody up, I'll gas you up regardless. When it comes to the other way around, pretty girls, as much as we do get gassed, as much as we do, I'm telling you, the amount of hate, the amount of double-ended compliments you receive as a pretty woman. A woman can be telling you you're pretty in your face, but really talking trash about you on the other end. And the trash she can be talking will be so surface level. It's like, one thing I've really noticed, anytime people come for me, it is never about my character. People always want to judge me for something that has nothing to do with my character. And that's how I know it's nothing fundamentally having to do with me. You're not mad that I'm a bad friend, that I'm a bad person, because none of that's true. People assume that when you're pretty, you're a bitch. You don't give a fuck. You gonna play them. You gonna shit on them. You gonna leave them in the dirt. You gonna disrespect them. You gonna hold them. People really think these things, and then as I enter relationships, I'm coming in with meeting their predispositions of how I'm gonna be. They think I'm gonna be a bitch, but then I'm nice, and then now they're skeptical. Now they're like, oh, is she just trying to play me? And I experience this with men too. Men will be like scared shitless of me. I'm like, is everything okay? They're like, I'm just nervous because I feel like you're gonna break my heart and you're gonna leave, and I'm never gonna hear from you again. And I'm just like, whoa, relax, baby. Relax. Like, I actually like you. Men will be scared shitless of you. Okay? So scared where sometimes men don't even approach. Men will automatically assume as a pretty woman you're taken or that you will reject them. So, you might be surprised. Some guys are just not confident enough to come up to pretty women. I've noticed this as well. The guys will be more nervous around me because they think I will reject them. Another thing is too, men also do a lot of the similar things that women do. Some men will shit on you because you're the pretty girl. And why is that? Probably because they've been rejected by a pretty girl once in their life. And men hold on to that shit. So if you're a pretty girl and you come around to a man who's been hurt by a pretty girl before and it wounded him, he is going to treat you bad. He's going to give you the wrath that he felt when he got rejected by the last pretty girl. It's coming to you, baby. It's coming to you. Okay? Some of these men, they really be hurt. In my last relationship, it was like a competition. He always wanted to like one up me, and I'm like, why are we competing? You're the man, I'm the woman. There's no competition here. Go compete with somebody else. Don't compete with me. I'm a woman. Why are you even stepping over here? He felt that the likelihood of being hurt by an attractive woman was so much higher. So the amount of bullshit this man tried to put me through because of his own fears. People will lash out and do slick shit because they think you're the bad guy. This is probably the worst one. People will do you dirty as a precautionary measure. They think that because you're the pretty girl, you're gonna hurt them. They think that because you're the pretty girl, you're the bitch, and you do not care about their feelings. They think because you're the pretty girl, you are talking shit about them behind the scenes and you have all the terrible things to say about them. When in reality, you'll be in your own lane and you're not worried. So people will do you dirty because they think you're doing them dirty, all because you're pretty. I've been in multiple situations where people have been like, well, damn, I thought you were doing this, that. I'm like, I wasn't. They're like, oh, well, I thought you were gonna hurt me. I thought you were gonna this. I thought you were gonna that. Happens all the time. That is a huge one with guys. Being a pretty girl, guys will constantly project their insecurities onto you. Guys will cling to you extra hard. They don't want you to go certain places. They want you to be up underneath them like they're lapdogs because they're insecure that you're gonna go and leave them. But anyway, y'all, my food's about to get cold. Y'all see it's looking real good, real healthy. I'm gonna go smash on this. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hopefully you learned something, you gained something, or at least you were entertained. Comment down below any suggestions for videos you guys have. I really want to be consistent on YouTube this coming year, so please let me know any videos you would like to see me film, and I would be so happy to film them. HelloFresh, sponsor me. I would love to get some more of these meals because I'm loving it. If you guys want me to make a more in-depth video, kind of more of a sit down, this was just a cook with me and like let's just have a discussion about something that's on my mind. So I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to give it a thumbs up and to comment down below your thoughts, any suggestions that you guys have, and I will see you guys in the next one.